What's good, Cosmo Collective? Welcome back to Eternity Tarot. I'm Eternity, and I hope that you're having an amazing day. Today's reading is going to be where should you focus your attention to align with your dream life? So, as you know, this is a timeless reading, so wherever or whenever you're tapping in from, I hope this reading resonates for you. Always remember, guys, that some readings may resonate stronger for others, and this is a collective reading, so if it doesn't resonate for you today, just feel free to go ahead and exit the video and find something that does resonate for you. There's a ton of readings on my channel, so I'm sure you'll find something. All right, let's go ahead and get into the reading. For pile 1, we have the Lovers. For pile 2, we have the 5 of Wands. For pile 3, we have the 6 of Wands. Whenever you're ready, go ahead and pick whichever pile resonates with you, and I'll meet you at your reading. If you chose the Lovers, then this is your reading. Let's go ahead and look into where you should focus your attention to align with your dream life. Spirit, where should pile 1 focus their attention to align with their dream life? Where should pile 1 focus their attention to align with their dream life? Where should pile 1? Oops. We've got the 4 of Cups. Where should pile 1 focus their attention to align with their dream life? The Moon. They're really flying out for you, pile 1. 6 of Swords. So it already looks like Spirit is calling you to walk away from something or seek out new possibilities. Maybe something has caused you to feel a little bit hopeless, or you're just currently focusing your attention on an attachment that's no longer fruitful. We have the 4 of Cups, which can symbolize focusing on things that are sort of a loss for us, or just focusing on situations, things that are no longer serving us or working out for us. And then we have the Moon, which is all about hidden emotions and the different phases of emotions and intuition in facing your fears. And then we have the 6 of Swords, which is literally about moving towards the light and stepping out of darkness, stepping out of situations that aren't serving us. So the overarching theme for you, pile 1, is definitely in alignment with that. Let's keep pulling. Spirit, where should pile 1 focus their attention to align with their dream life? Oops. Spirit, where should pile 1 focus their attention to align with their dream life? Let's take these 2. We've got the Fool and the Ace of Wands coming out together. I'll keep those together. Where should pile 1 focus their attention to align with their dream life? Where should pile 1 focus their attention to align? Oops. Not going to take all of those, Spirit. Three of Cups, so we have some sort of collaboration. Where should pile 1 focus to align with their dream life? All right, we have the Lovers again. This was the card that you chose that most resonated with you. So the Lovers is a card of romantic connection, but it's also a card of major choices, choices that align with who we are at a soul level, as love is. So I think that Off of first impression so far, it seems like Spirit is calling you to focus your attention on your emotions and what you give attention to, what you choose to give your attention to, which is why we see the Lovers here. But let's keep pulling for a few more cards. Maybe there's some more messages there. Spirit, what would you like Pile 1 to focus their attention on to align with their dream life? What should they be focusing their attention on to align with their dream life? King of Swords. And final card, Spirit. Four of Pentacles. And let's see, for the bottom of the deck, we have the Queen of Swords. It says, brilliant, self-reliant, insightful, humorous. You know exactly what to do. The benefit of experience. A time for your career rather than relationships. Well, if that isn't clear, then I don't know what is. So, Spirit's answer to this question, where should you focus your attention to align with your dream life, is abundantly clear. Spirit is asking you to step out of your emotional body and step more into being logically minded. And one of the quickest accesses that we have for stepping out of our emotional body and into our logical mindset is through our career. So Spirit is offering your career pursuits, your dreams, your financial pursuits as a sort of, as a breeding ground for you to step out of that emotional body, which may be, you just may be someone who's in a current phase of emotional dissatisfaction or coming off of 2025 if you're seeing this video when it came out. You just may have been dissatisfied with what the last year reaped for you. And so Spirit is telling you to set that down for a second, set down your disappointments, set down your fears, set down the hopes and dreams that didn't quite live up to your expectations, and step into a more logically minded approach, not giving as much weight to your emotions, and move forward, step out of this darkness into the light, into a leap of faith with passion, right? Spirit is really telling us a story here chronologically with this Four of Cups going into the Moon, going into the Six of Swords. We literally have someone in a space of dissatisfaction who sort of can't stop looking at their dissatisfaction, even though we literally have the Archangel here coming and bearing gifts. They can't stop looking at their Four of Cups or their Three Cups as the universe goes to provide a fourth cup. And then we see all of their hidden fears and doubts coming up, rising up with the different phases of the moon. And then we have Spirit's advice and guidance, which is to step out of that darkness. Literally, we have stepping out of darkness after the moon card, which is literally at nighttime, stepping out of those limiting beliefs, those long drawn out emotions that are stored inside of us, that disappointment that we're feeling, and move towards the light. And as soon as the card starts to move towards the light, what do we have? A new beginning, a beautiful new beginning. But Spirit made sure to have the cards fall out with that new beginning in that Ace of Wands, which is telling you this is a vibrant, vitality-full new beginning. This is a passionate new beginning. And that new beginning entails the Three of Cups collaboration, finding new friends and new co-constituents to help you build a more fulfilling life. It's showing the Lovers here, which is about making more choices with discernment. This is likely about who you choose to associate yourself with and who you choose to invite into your life, right? And that can be romantic partners, but that also comes down to the friends we choose for ourselves. Maybe you're coming off of a friendship breakup. Maybe you just grew apart with someone you really care about in your life, and you didn't expect it, which it happens more commonly than you think. And maybe you're feeling alone, or like, for some of you, maybe you feel like you lost the person in your life who was going to be there at your wedding and the birth of your first child. Maybe you grew up together. Spirit is saying they understand the level of hurt that scenario, if that applies to you, has brought to you. They understand that this is a huge disappointment and a complete break in expectations, right? This is totally different than what you thought life would be. But they're saying to make better choices, discern. Now they're giving you an opportunity to find more like-minded individuals, to find your soul family, to find your soulmate. But before you just jump right in and do that, Spirit is saying, come back to center. Come back to center. You are already tapped in well enough with your emotional body. So coming back to center, the way that looks is focusing on yourself for a period of time. Not only focusing on yourself, but focusing on your logical mind, because when we start relating interpersonally with people and our emotions get involved with other people, it can tug on our heartstrings more than it's tugging on our logical mind and discernment, especially if this is a long-term friendship or person that sort of came into your life or has been in your life that has put you in circumstances you never expected to be in, which can entail losing those friendships or those significant people in your life, or it could just be any sort of disappointment. Maybe you're disappointed in your career. As I already mentioned, maybe you're disappointed with how the year turned out for you. Maybe you're the type of person who created an elaborate mood board of all that you wanted to accomplish, and you looked back at the end of the year and felt you accomplished nothing. Spirit is saying you'll know better and you'll do better, but the biggest thing that is going to help you to align with your dream life is not to keep focusing on the past, not focusing on what's shrouded in darkness, not focusing on what has already happened, because the only time that we have is now, guys. The only time that we have is now, right? All we have is the present moment. We don't have the future to be anxious about, and we don't have the past to worry about what we could have done better. We learn and grow from the past. So Spirit is telling you, learn and grow from what didn't work. Learn and grow from what's not working, and choose wisely, choose better, and we will send you collaborators to help you align with this dream life. But that doesn't happen until you take the reins back. You take the reins back, and then you finally decide that you're not going to let yourself get weighed down by this darkness, and you're going to find a way to move forward and take ownership of this leap of faith that you know you're entitled to. And then, as we saw with the bottom of the deck energy, we have the Queen of Swords, and we also see the King of Swords on the board. So Spirit is doubling down on becoming someone who's well integrated in their logical mind with both the feminine and masculine energies, bridging those together in order to form a more cohesive, logically minded spirit, a logically minded spirit that integrates boundaries, self-reliance, and a feeling of being capable, and insight and wisdom with rationality, and being ambitious and going for your goals, and really embodying being respected. Here's the thing, guys. A lot of people A lot of people want to be respected, but they don't understand to be respected, you have to embody respect. I'm not even just talking about self-respect, but yes, you have to have that too. It means embodying respect really has a lot to do with these boundaries that you set for yourself, because when you have boundaries, that means you know what you will accept and what you won't accept and everything in between. And when you have those boundaries, that's a step in the right direction of being seen as someone who's respected, because people know they can't try you. They cannot try you, babes, because they know they're not going to go for this and they're going to go for that. They know where your lines are as soon as you walk into a room. And because you know where your lines are, you start to carry yourself in a certain way. We can literally see with this King of Swords card, he's carrying himself in a certain way. Does this look like the one to play with? No. Okay, he doesn't look like the one to play with. But we see along this card all of these beautiful yellow roses, because yellow roses symbolize friendship and an openness. And even though his arms are crossed and his boundaries are clear, this card is showing I'm still capable of friendship. I'm still open and receptive to those around me, but I'm open and receptive to those around me who respect my boundaries. And finally, we have the Four of Swords card. Or I'm sorry, the Four of Pentacles card. Maybe the Four of Swords came up as a separate message for you. Maybe what you're dealing with has caused a lot of anxiety and stress, and maybe Spirit is calling you to also rest a bit more in order to focus your attentions and to better align with your dream life. So when I see the Four of Pentacles card here, it says, when you give, you also receive. Being resistant to change, extremes in how you save or spend money. So there is an undertone of focusing on your career, which of course in our world, when we focus on our career, this has the impact of focusing on our finances and material abundance. So Spirit is calling me back to the Four of Cups card as I talk about this Four of Pentacles card, and they're making me think that maybe you are coming off the tails of the end of the year and you're dissatisfied with your level of material wealth and abundance. Specifically, they're calling my attention to someone who keeps looking at their bank account and they're disappointed with either the amount of money they've saved or their bank account, what it has in it, whether that be what some would perceive as a large amount of money, what others might perceive as a little bit of money. Spirit is calling me to whoever is disappointed with their material abundance right now. And we're not just talking about, oh, I wish I had more money. We're not talking about a simple level of disappointment. Spirit is literally saying with the Six of Swords, they're telling me right now, tell that mother to stop looking at their bank account and getting disappointed. Don't keep looking at it. If it's not satisfying to you, don't keep looking at what's not there, because that's going to cause you to focus on what you don't have. Spirit is saying if it's bumming you out looking at your bank account, maybe you have 20 cents in your bank account, stop looking at it. You know the 20 cents is there, okay, babes? You know the 20 cents is there. Now it's time to figure out what actions we're going to take. And it's also time to reframe our perspective, because the reality is if you're broke and you're feeling disappointed about not having enough money or material abundance, you are starting from nothing, essentially. You're starting from a baseline that can only grow and expand, right? And so when we reframe our perspective and we step out of that dark mindset, we step out of those limiting beliefs around what level of abundance we can acquire, and we step into the light, we're stepping into possibility. What is possible? That leap of faith. And Spirit is telling you, if you're resonating with this message around abundance and money, Spirit is telling you, once you start focusing on what's possible with regards to how much you can make and start focusing on that with passion and vigor, then we find these co-constituents, these collaborators. Then we have to step in, learning our boundaries, creating more boundaries, but we can finally step out of this feeling of lack. And we can finally step out of this lack mindset with regards to abundance. Because guess what? If your perspective around money is that you never have enough or you don't have enough, you're never going to have enough money, ever. If you think to yourself, dang, I never have enough to pay my bills, you're never going to have enough to pay your bills. That's not because you can have $1 million and not think it's enough. Or, I'm sorry, I said that wrong. That's not because you won't always have money in your bank account. That's because if your mindset is you never have enough to pay your bills, you can have $1 million in your bank account and still perceive that as never enough. So Spirit is calling you to make a different choice. Reframe your perception of abundance. Or for some of you, it's to reframe your perception of meaningful friendships and meaningful relationships and what's a meaningful career. Spirit is asking you to reframe your current perspective in order to align with your dream life. Because the reality is, having a perspective rooted in lack, whether that's within your relationships, feeling lackful within your relationships, feeling lackful within your career, feeling lackful within your bank account and your ability to manifest abundance. Feeling from a place of lack is just going to keep you feeling from a place of lack. And that is just going to keep creating the reality that your reality is lackful. Your reality is scarce. Your reality doesn't have enough. So Spirit is asking you to focus your attention on what's possible. And what is Spirit saying is possible for you? A passionate new beginning where you have the opportunity to create from wherever you are and build your dream life, build your abundance, build your career, build new, more aligned relationships. So now I'm going to take a few more cards and check in with Spirit to see what more they'd like you to know about this question, what more they'd like you to focus your attentions on to align with your dream life, some more specific details. We're going to go and look into that. For pile one, what more would you like pile one to know about what they should focus their attention on to align with their dream life, Spirit? What more advice and guidance do you have for pile one, Spirit? What more would you like to say on where pile one should focus their attention? 10 of Swords. Oops. Let's see. Where should pile one focus their attention to align with their dream life? Where should pile one focus their attention to align with their dream life, Spirit? the Emperor and the King of Pentacles upright. They really want you to focus on cultivating a more masculine energy within yourself, or really opening up that masculine energy within yourself, and building stability for yourself. What else, Spirit? Where should Pile 1 focus their attention to align with their dream life? Two of Swords. They want you to become more decisive, okay? And clarify the Ten of Swords, Spirit. Where should Pile 1 focus their attention to align with their dream life? Two of Wands, clarifying the Ten of Swords. Clarify the Emperor and the King of Pentacles. I'm not going to take 3, Spirit. Clarify the Emperor and the King of Pentacles. Thank you, Spirit. The Star, healing masculine energy. And clarify the Two of Swords, please, Spirit. King of Wands. So, a couple things to note. First, when I saw the Ten of Swords, I heard Spirit literally go, "End it already! End it already!" And I'm like, oh my gosh, what have you been ignoring for Spirit to just start yelling at me? So some of you need to focus your attentions on ending a relationship. I don't know if that's romantic or if it's platonic, but if you've been thinking, oh, I think I need to cut that person off. I think I need to cut this person off because they're not really my friend. I think I need to cut this person off because this future isn't really going anywhere between the two of us. This romance isn't really satisfying to me. Spirit is saying, end it already, okay? They're over it. They've told you already. Now it's time to listen. So this is probably confirmation for someone. And then once we're ended with whatever situation that has come out, that we've come out of, Spirit is saying it's time to focus on that masculine energy. And not just focus on it. Spirit is saying we're guiding you into a season of your life to heal your masculine energy, okay? And when I say masculine energy, this is non-gendered. You could be a man who needs to heal your masculine energy. You could be a woman who needs to heal your masculine energy. We are all beings who exist in an energy of duality. That is spoken about using terms like masculine and feminine energy. You could be queer and also need to heal your masculine energy. So don't get too attached to the gendered words that I'm using here, because we all have masculine energy. And quite frankly, we're living in a world that needs to heal its masculine energy. This patriarchal society is not serving all of us in the way that it should be. So Spirit is just asking you to be a part of this mass awakening and mass healing of the masculine energy, because it starts from an individual level. And the fact that we literally have the Emperor, which is the most masculine presenting card in the deck, and then we have that with the King of Pentacles upright, which I would argue is the second most masculine presenting card in the deck, primarily because the King of Pentacles governs stability, right? And when we talk about masculine energy, the role of the patriarch historically has always been to protect and provide. So we have two of the strongest masculine energies presented in the deck. And then we also have this King of Wands over here, which I'll get into in just a second. So We also have the Two of Swords, which the Two of Swords is, it says, it will all be better if you just make a decision. Overanalyzing a problem, find a compromise. So that speaks to healing the masculine energy as well, because in terms of energies, we always talk about the feminine energy as existing more within the emotional body, and the masculine energy being more logically minded, the one who generally gets awakened first in twin flame dynamics, in soulmate connections, is the feminine energy, and the one that typically takes some time and lags is the masculine energy. But the thing with those who are logically minded is the masculine energy typically is more decisive. When the masculine takes more time to wake up, when the masculine does wake up, they're very decisive. Got that? So Spirit is telling you, and this is my favorite part of the reading here, Spirit is telling you, you should focus your attention on becoming more decisive to align with your dream life. But also, this is clarified by the King of Wands, right? Which says generous, inspirational, dramatic, driven. Keep your eyes on the big picture. Leave the details to others. Experience that leads to success and genuine concern for others. So I'm getting a couple messages here. The first message is, if you're someone who, there's just no other way to put it. If you're community dicking it up out here, Spirit is saying it's time to get decisive. It's time to get serious. Maybe you're someone who identifies as a man of a certain age, and you've been out here playing the field, being a rake, and, you know, enjoying your singleness, but you know within yourself it's time to settle down some roots, find a person to be with, and build a family, build your 10 of Cups and build your dream life, and take on more responsibility. It's time. In the traditional Rider-Waite Tarot, the Two of Swords involves someone with two swords crossing in front of them, and they're blindfolded. But it's not like they couldn't just take the two swords and, you know, cut the blindfold off. So there's a context that they're keeping themselves blindfolded. And then the second message here is, it says, keep your eyes on the big picture, leave the details to others. So if you're someone, now I feel like I'm maybe talking to someone who identifies as female or is femme presenting, and within their career they are feeling a little bit disappointed and they want to move forward in their career. Spirit is telling me, if you're someone who wants to be the boss and make more money, you have to embody being the boss. And what that looks like is delegating tasks, not taking on every little small detail. Maybe you're an entrepreneur who is scaling your business and you have a few employees, but they're not doing much because you're doing everything. To be the boss, you have to be the boss. That means when it's time to make the tough decisions, you make the tough decisions. And when it's time to make the small, little detailed decisions, you employ someone who is capable, who understands your tastes and the needs of the business, and you leave those to them. Jeffrey Bezos isn't over here, on his super yacht. Jeffrey Bezos isn't over here on his super yacht figuring out what kind of coffee should go in the Amazon break rooms. He has someone employed for that. And then finally, out of these cards that we have here, pile one, we have the 10 of Swords clarified by the 2 of Wands. The 2 of Wands is a card of two diverging paths. It's two major choices that we could make. And all of this reading speaks to being more decisive in all areas of life, being more logically minded, being more discerning, and specifically healing your masculine energy. So what is Spirit asking you to put a stop to, Spirit is asking you to stop being of two minds. Align with your own mind, body, and soul. Stop going for diverging paths. You want to move forward. You want to make progress. That entails picking a lane and sticking to it and sticking with it, even if it feels like it's up and down and it has all these hills and valleys. That is a part of the journey. You can't keep quitting the journey just because it doesn't feel like it's working out for you. You'll notice there's two cards. That's telling me right away, Spirit is saying that you're kind of always one foot out the door on everything, or you either have one foot out the door on every choice you make, or you always have 2 feet planted in 2 separate grounds, and that's not going to work. Someone told me in the past, anytime I feel indecisive, get off the fence, because sitting on the fence hurts. Think about it. When you're sitting on the top of a white picket fence, right? It doesn't feel good because pickets are pointy. Now you tell me where you think the points go on your body when you're sitting on it in the comments. Get off of the fence. That is the clearest message that Spirit could give here. All right, pile 1, let's go ahead and move into some oracle cards for you. We're going to be using 2 oracle decks today. First, we have our Cosmic Comfort Oracle deck, which is going to be affirmations from Spirit to guide you on where you should focus your attention to align with your dream life, which is this deck right here. And then we're going to switch to the Okana Oracle deck, which is a deck all about the shadow elements at play within your lifestyle. That way we can kind of see what is interfering or what could potentially interfere with this focus and provide some delays or setbacks. That way you're prepared so that you know what to look out for. And I do want to let you know I will be reading from the booklet for this deck because the Okana Oracle was made by a very intentional tarot designer, a wonderful black witch from, I believe, 6 generations of witches, and they were very, very precise in how they wanted these shadow cards to be portrayed. So I'm going to read from the pages of whatever we get with your oracle cards from the Okana Oracle, and then I'll give you my intuitive channeling based off of that as well. Let's get into it. All right, Spirit, let's get some advice and guidance for pile 1 on where they should focus their attention to align with their dream life. Advice and guidance for pile 1 on really honing that divine masculine energy, cultivating stronger boundaries. Here we have sacred space. Your home is a sacred space because it contains you, a sacred being worthy of comfort, safety, stability, and pleasure. Does the energy and frequency of your living space reflect this? Does your home honor you and nurture you and replenish you, providing you a sanctuary of comfort, or is your home more draining and depleting? What needs to change in order for your environment to be aligned with your growth and create conditions for the life you truly desire? Let's get some more advice and guidance for pile 1, please, Spirit. Ooh, that one definitely wants to come out. Emotion. Feelings are meant to be felt, not pushed away or stifled. Feelings reveal the truth about something that is important to us, however unpleasant or difficult it may be to experience them. It may be helpful to remember emotions as emotion, energy in motion. What feelings need to be fully felt and moved through you today? Having certain feelings does not make you a bad or weak person. You are simply a spiritual being receiving the totality of the human experience with all kinds of energies that need to move through your body before they are released. And we'll get one more from this deck. What advice and guidance? All right, Spirit. Oh, let's see. Only taking one card, Spirit. What advice and guidance do you have for pile 1? What advice and guidance do you have for pile 1? Where should they focus their attention? Oops. I'm feeling called to take this one. Where should they focus their attention to align with their dream life? Listen. Pause for a moment and turn down the volume of your thoughts. Intentionally listen. Can you hear the secret underground river beneath your feet, whispering its knowledge to you, beckoning you to follow its hidden curves? Tune into the mysterious, subtle whispers that get lost in the cacophony of the outside world. It is only when we allow ourselves to be still that we receive vital clues about who we are, what we desire, and where we need to go next. Sometimes the most compelling messages from the universe speak very softly. Are you listening? And let's go ahead and get 2 from the Okana Oracle for you. Oops. Not quite yet. What shadows does pile 1 need to be aware of that might hinder their growth, Spirit? This one says, knowing. He who collects the most knowledge wins the war. Advice and guidance for pile 1. Famine. Do not pick up what is discarded. That's a pretty clear message there. Let's go and grab the booklet and see what we've got for knowing and famine. Let's start with knowing. He who collects the most knowledge wins the war. Shadow element. Sometimes there are typos in this book. This was the first generation of this deck. To use of knowledge as a means to invalidate emotion or manifest as a barrier to mask personality flaws. Knowledge is power, but what happens when that power is used as an injury to personality, common human error, or emotion? Of course, we are all students of life, and the process of learning is never complete. However, to use this as a means to invalidate the struggles we face emotionally is not only unfair to ourselves, but it is but it is unfair to others. In life, we will all hear the argument that logic supersedes emotion and intuition by many who feel human actions can be quantified by mathematical or simplistic cause and effect reasoning. It can be used as a farce to appear stronger than one really is, because they are not burdened by the frivolous nature of feeling. This card indicates that one is expressing pedantic behavior to belittle, demean, or outright nullify natural human emotion to appear intellectually superior to emotion. It is oftentimes used as a means to win interpersonal disagreements or to show emotional intelligence when it is not. Take a moment to analyze if at any time you or someone have revoked an emotional response to something joyful or saddening by inserting logic as a means to invalidate the feeling as nothing more than face value. Why does the notion of having emotions trouble you or them? So, starting with knowing, really both of these cards are illuminating the same shadow element that could hinder your growth and detract from your focus to aligning with your dream life. So if in the main reading spirit wanted you to focus on developing your masculine energy, I want to be clearer. Spirit is saying they'd like you to develop healthier masculine energy. That looks like being more logically minded. That looks like having more boundaries, more clear boundaries, to be specific. This doesn't look like toxic masculinity. Spirit isn't saying go out there and gaslight people. Spirit isn't saying go out there and be the strongest person there is and be hot-headed and ready to fight. Spirit is saying, in some ways, you've already embodied the feminine energy, even if it's a bit overactive, even if you're relying heavily on your feminine energy. And now spirit is asking you to balance the scales again and master your divine masculine energy in a healthy way. We can see through the oracle cards here already, spirit isn't telling you to let go of the feminine energy. With the sacred space, spirit is saying create a hearth, create a home that you can come back to when you need to reset from these lessons that you're learning. Create a space that feeds your spirit, that feeds your emotional energy as well. That way you don't feel like you're just going out in the world learning to master your masculine energy and don't have anything to fall back on or no comforts. We also see within the emotion cards, spirit isn't asking you to totally eradicate your emotions. Spirit is just saying you've been relying heavily on your emotional responses, and everything in this universe requires balance. Spirit really snapped when they said feelings are meant to be felt, not pushed away or stifled. And that's a secondary message for some of you as well, that some of you are stifling your emotions, or you're holding on to them for so long that they're not moving through you. Spirit has told you to focus on your divine masculine energy, but don't focus so heavily on your divine masculine energy that you lose all knowing of mastery of your divine feminine energy. And don't hold on to divine feminine energy so much so that you're not processing and letting go of emotions. Every single emotion we have is like a wave, and every single emotion will in due time pass. Some take longer than others to pass, but they're meant to pass. They're not meant to be something we hold on to, because that energy will steep into our space. That energy will create sickness within us. All of these emotions are designed to pass. And then finally, Spirit has the Oracle card, Listen here, which is Spirit saying, you already have the intuitive guidance system. We knew this when we created you. We gave this to you. So Spirit is asking you to find balance of your masculine and feminine energies. And the simplest way that they're saying this can be done is just to come back to center. The Sacred Space card is pointing to coming back to center, finding even 5 minutes a day just to breathe, set an intention, and listen, and just see what comes to you. I suspect, Pile 1, that if you clicked on this video, you already knew where you needed to focus your attention and to align with your dream life. So this is just going to be a pile of confirmation. Now we're going to get into this famine card, because this famine card is touching on something we already saw in the earlier part of the reading. This is also a confirmation of that lack and that scarcity mindset. Do not pick up what is discarded. Shadow element, operating from a place of lack on a grand scale. This is the impoverished mind, governing your every word, belief, or action. Off the top, Spirit has told me that one area where the lack mentality is showing up for you is actually in that divine feminine energy. Because yes, it's amazing to be able to exist within the emotional body, but it is a sign of lack if we think we're not allowed to have boundaries, we're people pleasing, we're not allowed to have choice, we're not allowed to say no to others. This is a space of lack because to be able to say no is a privilege, and it is a sign of abundance to be able to choose and cultivate your own reality. So what is it about your reality that makes you think you don't have the privilege to say no, and you don't have the privilege to disappoint people? I think I'm going to butcher this, but there was a phrase, I think, that said, if you're not disappointing anyone in your life, then you're disappointing yourself. So let's continue. A famine is, by definition, an extreme scarcity. When this card is selected, you may be going through a period of feeling like you're low on a plethora of things: spirit, energy, motivation, finances, love, appreciation, etc. However, it also suggests you're comfortable living in poverty, and while you are disconnected with this reality, you feel powerless to do anything about feeling left out in the cold when it comes to abundance. It suggests that you have become accustomed to going without, so you just take what you can get, as if that's as good as it will get, and that needs to be remedied. Signs you may feel like you're, excuse me, oh my gosh. All of a sudden, I just felt something in my throat. I don't know if there's a throat chakra blockage for you, Pal 1. You're maybe not speaking your mind or really the truth of how you feel to someone or about something, and that's perhaps why we see these blocked emotions that aren't passing through. My goodness, where were we? Signs you may feel like you're not living up to your potential is discomfort with going through the motions of waking, laying dormant, sleeping, and starting the process all over again. If you take a look at the idea of reciprocity and the pendulum effect, it suggests you ought to give what you need in return. If you want more financial abundance, don't hold on to your dollars like you'll never see them again. If you want love, don't shut people out before you give them a chance to show their intentions. Okay, Spirit said, don't be holding on to your funky little dollars, like spread it. I think the message here with famine, as I mentioned, these two Okana oracles are things that can sort of get in your way. And so Spirit is saying quite clearly, with the knowing card, you might be tempted to overdrive while learning how to develop your masculine energy. You might be tempted to shift into toxic masculinity, habits of gaslighting others or manipulating others, or twisting logic to suit your desires. And then we have the famine card, which is Spirit literally saying you also might be tempted to get into a lack mentality if your reality isn't what you envision at the time you envisioned it. So Spirit is asking you, most importantly, to keep a level head, keep balance within yourself. That's why the listen card is here. Spirit added the sacred space and the emotion card for obvious reasons, which are confirmed in the initial part of the reading. But the listen card is really to keep you from falling into these shadow traps that you're predisposed to. Pile 1, that is your reading. Thank you for joining me today. Pile 2, if you chose the 5 of Wands, then this is your reading. Let's explore where you should focus your attention to align with your dream life. Spirit, for pile 2, where would you already? 10 of Pentacles. Where should pile 2 focus their attention to align with their dream life? Where should pile 2 focus their attention to align with their dream life, Spirit? Where do you want pile 2 to focus their attention to align with their dream life? Thank you, Spirit. 3 of Swords. Where should... Ooh. 7 of Cups. 10 of Pentacles, 3 of Swords, and 7 of Cups. How interesting. Where should pile 2 focus their attention to align with their dream life, Spirit? Where should pile 2 focus their attention to align with their dream life? What would you like pile 2 to focus on to align with their dream life? 4 of Cups. Where should pile 2 focus their attention to align with their dream life, Spirit? The Lovers. So we've got some choices on the board. Where should pile 2 focus their attention to align with their dream life? What would you like pile 2 to focus on, Spirit? 6 of Swords. Where would you like pile 2 to focus, Spirit? 5 of Wands. One more card, please, Spirit. Spirit said 2 more cards. 2 of Pentacles and the Page of Wands. And for the bottom of the deck, we have the Hierophant. What a unique spread, pile 2. We do have some undertones of love. We have some undertones of career. I see. I'm starting to see the message here. So overall, pile 2, the message that I'm getting for you on where you should focus your attention to align with your dream life is that there's some sort of heartbreak in your reality about life not living up to your expectations of what you thought it would be. Not even just life not living up to the expectations of what you thought it would be, you not living up to the expectations of what you thought you would be or what your life would become. There's this sense that you're just not meeting the measure is what I keep hearing. You're not meeting the measurements you set for yourself and specifically your life. This isn't something that's a short-term disappointment. Maybe when you were a kid, you had all of these huge, grandiose ideas of what life would be like, and maybe it felt more vigorous and full of vitality when you were a kid, and now you're into adulthood and it's just not what you thought it would be. Because the initial card is the 10 of Pentacles, and this is a card of extreme stability, financial success, and the promise of retirement and rewarding family life. And we literally see in this card 2 women sitting outside of a cafe in Paris with the Eiffel Tower in the background. And for me, That was what Spirit called me to, that and the choices present in the Seven of Cups and the Lover's card. And then, of course, we have this heartbreak right in smack dab in the middle of the reading. And that's telling me maybe you thought you'd have more funds and you'd be traveling all over the world and learning new languages and exploring different cultures. And maybe that just hasn't happened yet. But what Spirit wants you to focus on, which we literally see at the end of the reading with this Two of Pentacles, which is an imbalance or juggling things, and then the Page of Wands. Spirit wants you to put down what you're juggling. Spirit wants you to be strategic about putting down all of these options. We literally see options as a through line within the reading with the Seven of Cups here. We see the Lovers, which is choice. We see the Two of Pentacles, which is juggling or an imbalance. And then Spirit even pointed it out in the Four of Cups card that to some degree there's this option present as well, because she's focused on these three cups that are not serving her, or in this card, these three seashells. And Spirit is coming in offering a fourth cup if she would only look away. And so obviously we live in a unique reality where most people can't just abandon their 9 to 5. Most people can't just abandon what is bringing them stability, especially if you've invested, say, 10 years within your career. But Spirit is saying, find a way to take a step back from that, and it's time to course correct. You're not dead yet. Spirit is very clear. You're not dead yet. Why are we sitting in this place of lack? You still can create the life that you always dreamed of. You still have all of this potential and these options. But what's most important is to be decisive and to choose this Page of Wands. You're not fully the King of Wands yet. Maybe you can't just move forward with all that you want with passion. Maybe you don't have the means to tackle every single dream that you've wanted to accomplish. Maybe you're not in a position to do that, but Spirit is saying you don't need to be the King of Wands. You don't need to have everything together to have the life you've always imagined. You just need a start. You just need a passionate start. And when we have the Hierophant as the bottom of the deck energy, that's also speaking to existing systems or long-term beliefs that we've held. Really, Spirit is calling me to existing systems. You have to understand, if you're in the US or the UK, or to be quite frankly, any of the biggest countries in the world, even if you're in, say, China, these are all capitalistic societies, and these systems weren't designed for everyone to thrive. They were designed for most of the people to be workhorses. That's how a system works. You have a few people at the top, you have a few people at the bottom, and the people in between, they're the system. They make up the system. That's how it becomes a system. But we're in a time in life where people are finally starting to divest from these ideas in the ways that they can. If you're someone who always feels bad, but you're watching the news every day, stop watching the news. If the news is making you feel worse, stop watching the news, or choose what news you're willing to consume. That is a very quick way to step out of the system that we're in and stop being under the influence of others and start being under the influence of yourself. What I see in these cards is someone who has been under the influence of the system and other people's expectations and other people's teachings. Maybe when you were a kid, if you're someone who's very much over 18, maybe when you were a kid, you had all these ideas of what life would be like, and then your parents told you had to go to college or get a job, and you just did what they said because they were in a position of authority and they said you wouldn't make it out in the real world if you didn't do one of those two things. And that might have set you on a path of just meeting everyone's expectations. Maybe you wish that you could study abroad, but you didn't study abroad because you were worried about the money. Maybe you wish you'd pursued more arts or some of your other hobbies and spent more time exploring, or just spent more time trying to figure out who you were and what you wanted to do. Guess what? Spirit is saying it's not too late. It's not too late to fall in love with life. Again, it's not too late to find something that you're passionate about. It's not too late. Spirit wants you to focus on falling in love with life again, romanticizing life, and really bringing your ideas of what a fulfilling and meaningful life are into reality, because you're the co-creator of your own reality, right? And if you're not going to do it, who else is going to do it? You're not a human being having a spiritual experience. You're a spiritual being having a human experience. And this human experience is finite. So what are you waiting for? Spirit is asking you to trust what you're considering an impulse. It's not an impulse. It's your intuition. Spirit is telling you to trust the voice inside of your head that is breaking down these old systems, or at least wanting to step away from these archaic systems, because this system was designed as a one size fits most or one size fits all. It wasn't designed for you. Okay? Let's go ahead and take a few more tarot cards for you guys and see where you should focus your attention to align with your dream life. For pile 2. Oops. I've got my cards backwards. What more would you like pile 2 to know? My goodness. What on earth is going on with these cards? Are we all in working order? Thank you, Spirit. Spirit, for pile 2, what more would you like them to know? Where should they focus their attention to align with their dream life? 9 of Swords. Where should pile 2 focus their attention to align with their dream life? I will take both of those. Oh, I'm not going to take 3, Spirit. Where should pile 2 focus their attention to align with their dream life? What more would you like pile 2 to know? I saw that come out upright. We have the Star. So Spirit is saying already they want you to focus on healing your overthinking habits and your anxiety, because that's what's got you into this current belief system. This anxiety that things aren't going to work out for you. This anxiety that not only are things not going to work out for you, they're going to go terribly, terribly bad. This anxiety that if you step outside of the box or step outside of everyone's expectations, no one is going to want to connect with you. You'll be alone. This anxiety that if you step out of these expectations, you'll let people down. Spirit wants you to heal that within yourself, because it's not true. It's a story that you're telling yourself, which is just holding you back. And better yet, people want to meet the real you. And the real you is not the voice that your anxiety keeps replaying and ruminating within your head. The Moon, we have hidden emotions and fears. Spirit, clarify. Whoops. I guess that's the clarified card. Clarify the 9 of Swords. Or, whoops. Clarify the 9 of Swords. And we have the 3 of Pentacles. So Spirit is saying that you have a lot of anxiety, that if you step outside of the expectations that you've always adhered to. You're worried that you're not going to find any collaborators. But this card, the Three of Pentacles, literally says, do what you love. A time of great personal growth in your career or artistic endeavors, working with others in a cooperative manner. Spirit, clarify the star card. Clarify the star card, please. One card. Clarify the star card, please, Spirit. What would you like Pile 2 to know? Thank you, Spirit. Here we have travel on the board again. Three of Wands. The Three of Wands isn't just a card that can represent travel, but it's also about our expectations being met. It's about literally ships coming in, seeds we've planted finally coming to fruition. So Spirit is calling you to heal the seeds you've planted. Maybe you've been planting seeds, but you've not been sowing them. Spirit says, what we want you to focus your attention on right now to align with your dream life is freaking eating the fruit from the seeds you've planted. You've done all of this work. I feel like Spirit is pointing to someone who's maybe on the verge of retirement, and they've been working their butt off for years, just working their butt off, and they've been focused on building a family, meeting the expectations. Also, I'm getting a message here of someone who might be in the closet. Spirit is saying, come out wherever you are. They don't want you to be in the closet anymore. It's time for you to align outwardly with your true self and live the life that you deserve, because Spirit didn't put you on this earth to hide. You are divinely perfect, whole, and complete. You're a divinely perfect, whole, and complete being. Spirit made you exactly as that, and maybe you've been searching your whole life on how to get back to that feeling that you know is deep down and true, which is that you're whole and completely perfect and divinely so. Spirit wants you to harvest that seed. They're saying it's time now. There's no more time. There's no more time later. There's a sense of urgency that Spirit really wants you to be aware of, because I always say to people, if I could have what I want today, or if I could have it in 10 years, why would I choose 10 years? If you could be the person that you always wanted to be today, or you could become the person you've always wanted to be in 10 years, why would you choose to wait 10 years? Clarify the Moon card, please, Spirit. Clarify the Moon card, please, Spirit. Not going to take two. Clarify the Moon card, please, Spirit. Clarify the Moon card, please, Spirit. Clarify the Moon, please, Spirit. What else would you like Pile 2 to know? All right, they definitely wanted me to take two cards. So we have the Ten of Cups and the Four of Pentacles upright, clarifying the Moon card. Spirit is saying that you have some hidden fears around, well, we already knew that, Spirit. That's actually a little bit redundant. They want you to become aware of the limiting beliefs in huge foundational level fears that you have for having your true Ten of Cups. When we see the Four of Pentacles card, this is a card of being stingy with your energy. This is a card of being stubborn with your energy, resistant to change, as it says on the card. Spirit wants you to know they're aware. They're aware of these fears that you say you have that are stopping you from living the life that you want. They're aware of all of that, all of the circumstances that mean you don't get to travel, that mean you don't get to be out in the open with your sexuality, that mean you don't get to live your life according to yourself. That means you have to be everything for everyone and no one to yourself. That means you have to hide a part of yourself. Spirit understands all the beliefs, all of the reasons, but at the end of the day, a belief is just a thought we keep thinking over and over. They can be changed. They're not set in stone. And Spirit wants you to release these fears. Let them phase out like the phases of the moon. Release the stubbornness so that you can allow your true nature to come in, and you'll be surprised at how many people love it. Let's take some oracle cards for you, Paul, too. Pile 2, we're going to be doing something a little bit different today. So today I'm going to be using my Cosmic Comfort Oracle deck, which is in the reverse. This is an Oracle deck with affirmations from Spirit that are going to give you a little more solid advice and guidance on how to focus your intentions to align with your dream life. And then we're going to take some cards from the Okana Oracle deck. This deck is a little bit different. It's an Oracle deck all about the shadow elements that may be running our lives or our belief systems and causing us to cycle through negative patterns that might interfere with your ability to focus your attention to align with your dream life. I will be reading from the booklet for this deck, simply because the creator of the deck intended for each card to be read from the booklet. So I'll read from the booklet when we come to this deck, and then I'll also give you my intuitive channeling with regards to the card. Let's get your oracle cards. Advice. Oh, thank you, Spirit. That was very spirited. Grief. Grief can come in many forms and depths and timelines, as many shapes as there are clouds in the sky. We may grieve the loss of a person, the end of a relationship, the end of an era, the person we used to be, the transitions that take us away from the old and the familiar, the loss of home, land, language, community. We may grieve the childhood we had, the childhood we never had, the road not taken, or the road regretfully taken. It is okay to fully feel all the layers of emotions, however contradictory or messy. They do not have to make sense. They do not have to be neat and tidy. It is okay for your grief to take up space. What else would you like Pile 2 to know, Spirit? Advice and guidance for focusing their attentions to align with their dream life. This card came out in Pile 1 as well, so perhaps there's a message for you there, if you felt called to it. Listen. Pause for a moment and turn down the volume of your thoughts. Intentionally listen. Can you hear the secret underground river beneath your feet, whispering its knowledge to you, beckoning you to follow its hidden curves? Tune into the mysterious, subtle whispers that get lost in the cacophony of the outside world. It is only when we allow ourselves to be still that we receive vital clues about who we are, what we desire, and where we need to go next. Sometimes the most compelling messages from the universe speak very softly. Are you listening? Let's get one more, Spirit. Advice and guidance for Pile 2, please, Spirit. Advice and guidance for Pile 2. Oops, thank you, Spirit. Friendship. Do not believe in the propaganda that friendship is inherently less significant than familial ties and romantic partnership. Friendship is undervalued by society, but that does not mean we have to do the same. Friendship creates new worlds of possibility and safety. Friendship creates sweetness and shared joy. Friendship is a healing balm for broken hearts in difficult times. Like a well-tended garden, friendship requires regular maintenance and care. Are you giving your friendship garden the care it needs? Are your friendships giving you the care you need? Finally, remember to be a dear friend to yourself. I'm going to dive a little deeper into these cards individually once we have our shadow elements on the board. What shadow elements may interfere with Pile 2's ability to focus their attention and align with their dream life? What would you like Pile 2 to know, Spirit? What would you like Pile 2 to know? One card, let it fly, Spirit. What would you like Pile 2 to know? What shadow element may interfere with their... Ooh, that one jumped out. That one said, pick me. Harmony. Where there is life, there is always hope. That's definitely a confirmation of the earlier cards in your reading, isn't it, Pile 2? What else, Spirit? What else would you like them to know? Thank you, Spirit. Grit. When a needle falls into a well, many people will look into the well, but few will go down after it. Ooh, Spirit strongly called me to the Harmony card. I have a feeling we'll have a lot to discuss with this card. Where there is life, there is always hope. Shadow element, a struggle with being hopeful and optimistic. So you might be someone who's battling depression because we did see the Nine of Swords card. Are you a glass half full or glass half empty kind of person? This card suggests that you are currently experiencing a time when your spirit is disharmonious with your surroundings. However, instead of focusing on what you can do to alter your reality, you have lost hope in there ever being a time when you are truly content, happy, and at peace. It suggests you may have given up. Are you longing for harmony and don't know what to do to grasp it? Your ancestors recognize the dejection manifesting in your heart and are telling you to work with the joys you experience, even if it's as small an act as lighting a nice candle or watching one of your favorite films. Doing this gives you the opportunity to plant a seed of contentment, even if it's the size of a mustard seed, that you can water with other small acts so that it grows into a positive disposition that you can harvest in times where you feel you're being tested emotionally. Pile 2. The energy was so strong once I prepared to read that part of the booklet. And Spirit is reminding me of a time, of a lifetime I've experienced of dissatisfaction. And I think Spirit is calling me to tell you what I've done to heal my depression. So first and foremost, if you have never heard of Abraham Hicks, I encourage you to listen to Abraham Hicks videos. Ask a question about whatever you're struggling with. One of the biggest things I always struggled with was self-doubt. So I would just search up Abraham Hicks self-doubt, and whatever video came up and resonated with me, I would listen to. I struggled with depression for more than 20 years in my life. And at a certain point, I became so fed up with being depressed that I said to myself, there is no way I'm going to live the next 20 years of my life like this, with this level of dissatisfaction, with this desire of no longer being here with us. I'm either going to end it all or I'm going to find a way to enjoy this experience I'm having. And so the first thing I did in order to start to heal this is I asked myself, what advice have I been given by all of the people around me on how to be happy that I haven't taken? And I searched and I thought about everything anyone has ever told me about being happy or anything everyone has told me about myself. And I discovered that every person said, you need to think positively. And I shirked it off and I said, screw these guys. They don't know how hard it is to think positively. They don't know what they're talking about. It can't be as simple as that. It wasn't until I discovered Abraham Hicks's work, where Abraham was able to lay out steps at each turn on thinking positively. It started with the first video, which just said, focus on better feeling thoughts. And I found myself trying to focus on better feeling thoughts. And every time I focused on a better feeling thought, my brain would come up and combat that with a worse feeling thought than the thought that initially came up. And so then I had to ask Abraham, how do you focus on better feeling thoughts when your brain keeps giving you negative thoughts when you focus on the better healing thought, and the negative thoughts are worse than your regular negative thoughts? And then I received more advice and guidance from Abraham Hicks videos, and they were able to walk me through the baby steps of thinking positively. Maybe you're someone who's going through a similar thing. You're struggling with depression. You've been struggling with depression, and life hasn't turned out the way that you hoped it would. And people keep telling you to think positively, but you just don't know what the heck that really means. For those who think positively, it can be deceptively simple to think positively. Spirit is telling me that I'm definitely speaking to someone directly who needs to hear this message. It can be deceptively simple to think positively. Those who are thinking positively, they may not remember how hard it was to get to that place. Take it step by step, take it day by day, and listen to yourself. Notice the pushback that your spirit is giving you when you're trying to think positively. For me, it went from the negative thoughts combating the positive thoughts that I was trying to achieve. And then once I was able to get over that hurdle, all of a sudden this voice of self-doubt came in, and I had to ask, okay, how do I mitigate self-doubt? And there were regressions as well. Days when I was just so filled with rage and anger, but I just had to take it day by day and choose the better thought that today was rotten and tomorrow will be better. Let's get to the next card. Grit. When a needle falls into a well, many people will look into the well, but few will go down after it. Shadow element. Involving oneself in situations that do not pertain to you and taking on the accompanying responsibilities in a resentful fashion. When this card pops into a reading, it can indicate resentments you or someone may be feeling regarding situations you or someone may have inserted themselves into for no real reason other than to be involved. It is asking you to take a look to see if you're currently undergoing the stress of handling a problem or situation for someone else when it really isn't your responsibility to do so. For example, let's say you have two friends who are at odds. Once you insert yourself, either at the behest of them to take sides or on your own accord, you're now inserted into a quarrel that could potentially have disastrous consequences for your relationship with both parties. This can be applied to work issues, family issues, et al. This card is a warning that inserting yourself into a problem others have with a party that is not you is baseless and low vibrational. It is telling you to refrain from jumping into non-serious confrontation over issues that aren't your own, because it only creates rifts and discontent in your world where there should otherwise be none. Spirit is telling me, and I see this quite often in many people's lives. You may be someone who is suffering from a lot of discontent in your reality, and a lot of people alleviate that discontent by gossiping and getting involved in other people's lives. I always say that the people who gossip so heavily or create drama are doing this to alleviate the boredom that they feel in their lives. If you don't have anything to push back upon, then you have this feeling that you don't exist. This is also speaking to the Seven of Cups card that we saw in the initial reading. Spirit is saying you've got your hand in too many pots. It's also speaking to someone who is overwhelmed with duty. So what Spirit is guiding you to do is to go within the self and listen, to grieve the life that you've once longed for or once had in the past, or the reality that's no longer serving you, and to move forward. Find collaborators within your reality who can help you live a more positive experience, embody a more positive energy and high vibrational energy. Step away from those who are low vibrational, constantly dragging you into drama and gossip. And the reason for this is because it's time. It's time for you to align with your dream life. This isn't about just where to focus your attention to align with your dream life. Spirit is saying it's time. We can't wait any longer. We don't have time to keep waiting and putting this off. And you're so much more than your boredom. You're so much more than your negative habits. You're so much more than how you fulfill your role to the people in your work, your family, your extended family, and your friends. And Spirit wants you to let go of some of those things that you shouldn't be responsible for, because in reality, they just become burdens that fuel resentment, so that you can have more free time to live your dream life, the life that you always thought that you were going to have, that you never got a chance to because you were living up to people's expectations, because you were investing in systems that don't serve you, because you were building a foundation on what other people considered to be a strong foundation, and you never went within and inquired within yourself what would be a sustainable foundation, what would be sustainable friendships for you in your life. It's time to create a reality and a life that is tailored to you, your experience in your soul. Pile 2, that is your reading for today. I hope it resonated for you. Pile 3, if you chose the Six of Wands, this is your reading. Let's get into it. Spirit, where should Pile 3 focus their attention to align with their dream life? Spirit, where should Pile 3 focus their attention to align with their dream life? Where do you want Pile 3? Solutions. This is the Temperance card. Where would you like Pile 3 to focus their attentions? My goodness. 3 of Swords. To align with their dream life. My goodness, my goodness. So many cards jumping out for you, Pile 3. Where would you like Pile 3 to focus there? I will take both of those, Spirit. We have the 6 of Pentacles and the King of Swords. Let's see if we can sneak this King of Swords in there. There we go. Where would you like Pile 3 to focus their attention to align with their dream life, Spirit? The Hermit. What do you want Pile 3 to focus on, Spirit? Where should they focus their attention to align with their dream life? I'm going to take that top card. 5 of Wands. That one snuck right back in the deck. Where would you like Pile 3 to focus their attention to align with their dream life, Spirit? Two of Cups. Death. And let's take one more, Spirit. Is that our one more? 7 of Pentacles. The bottom of the deck is the Strength card. It says, strength and grace through kindness, self-confidence, and forgiveness. Pile 3, your spread is quite interesting. It seems to be quite a mix of emotions throughout. Let me rephrase. There seems to be quite a mix of energies throughout your reading. We see the Temperance card, which is all about tempering hot and cold energies. We have the bottom of the deck, which is Strength, which is also our Beauty and the Beast card. We have the 2 of Cups here smack dab in the middle of the reading, but we also have the 3 of Swords smack dab in the middle of the reading, and then we also have the Hermit, which sort of juxtaposes the 2 of Cups, because are we going within and being single to achieve spiritual growth, or are we aligning? And then we also have the Death card as well. I'm going to sit with these cards for a second here and see what Spirit wants us to know. Pile 3, Spirit is telling me you're one of those people who just can't stand to be single, huh? You get out of one relationship, you don't take time to heal, you jump into the next. Always new. There's always someone to connect with, always someone to get to know. And when we jump from relationship to relationship, always expending that energy to get to know other people, we never have time for ourselves. And there's this major undertone of reciprocity in having boundaries. But a lot of people don't realize, because they feel they're also receiving in these connections when they continually connect, there's an imbalance in reciprocity, because at some point in time, even if you're being generous with your energy, you simply don't have the capacity to give in the same way. I mean, we see this balancing of the hot and cold energies between 2 cups, which is trying to balance the level of energy that we can give, trying to balance this heartbreak while also trying to balance our spiritual growth and resolve the challenges of this heartbreak, trying to balance our boundaries, trying to balance the wanting love, but maybe not being fulfilled in that, and then trying to balance what we're investing our energy in. And Spirit is telling me with this Death card here, whether you like it or not, a transformation is already underway with regards to this current romantic landscape that you've entrenched yourself in. There's already a transformation underway in how you're investing in connections, and there will be a moment, a hermit moment, whether you like it or not, where you have to sit down with yourself and reflect and go on this journey and spend some time alone. Because when we're just connecting with people and we're not taking time to heal ourselves, not only is that a lack of reciprocity, that is a lack of boundaries. Because are you inhuman? What makes you think you don't have to process your emotions just like everyone else? I mean, even sociopaths and psychopaths have to process emotions. They may not feel them in the same way we do, but The feelings come in and they have to go out in some way, shape, or form. Overall, this is a pretty cut and dry reading from Spirit. What they want you to focus on is solitude, going within the self, and healing yourself, healing and transforming yourself, doing work, shadow work that you've been ignoring, that you've been putting off by just jumping into connections with other people over and over. Spirit wants you to assess, is this satisfying to you? Are you enjoying it? When I see this Five of Wands here, it's like, it says a challenge you can resolve. There's challenges. Meeting people and then jumping into new connections with them and having to learn their baggage really quickly. It's almost like being in a constant state of hypervigilance. In a certain sense, this is its own sort of form of PTSD, because you're doing this as a shadow element. You're doing this in, let me focus my thoughts because I want to deliver Spirit's message as pristinely as possible. Let's look at dating as a war zone. If dating is a war zone and it's scary out there, and some days it's calm, some days it's hell, and then some days there's guerrilla warfare going on, then you're a soldier keeping yourself in a constant state of fight or flight. Because, babes, if you just keep connecting, do you really know these people you're connecting to? Do you really have this two of cups that you think you do? If you had the Two of Cups that you think you have, when you keep jumping from connection to connection, we wouldn't be feeling this Three of Swords, this deep heartbreak, would we? And if it was really giving the Two of Cups that you think it's giving, if it was really something worth investing in, if it was really that, you wouldn't be breaking up with people, would you? Spirit is asking you to do a whole overhaul, a whole reevaluation of how you're relating to romantic connections, to balance your energies and to understand that you are a human being. You do have a duality. You contain multitudes within yourself. That's worth exploring by yourself, learning yourself, instead of immediately giving away parts of yourself to other people that you haven't even discovered in their entirety for yourself, that you haven't enjoyed for yourself on your own. This is like cooking a delicious meal for everyone, but you didn't taste it along the way for seasoning, so you don't really know how good it is. You just know how good it can potentially be, and then you've never tasted it, so you have no idea what you're serving to people. You just have an idea of what you think you're serving to people, and then that's putting a lot of power in their hands to just decide if they like it or not. That's putting a lot of power in these romantic partners' hands to decide if they like you or not, if you're worth it. There's a self-worth issue here that Spirit is calling you to focus your attention on. Spirit is asking you, Pile 3, specifically, rephrase. They're not asking you, they're telling you. That's what they said. I'm not asking, I'm telling. It's time to do the shadow work. It's time to go hermit mode. Go within that little cave. There's a phrase which is when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. They're saying the student is ready. You're ready for these lessons. You're ready for your spiritual growth. And guess what? If you're someone who is looking for true love, who is looking for that Ten of Cups, who is looking for stability, who is looking for reciprocity, this is the key. The key isn't to keep permutating and iterating and trying to find this Two of Cups with any person with genitalia. It's to go within the self and discover the self first. Because how can you find your ten of Cups if you don't know what you want? How can you know what you want if you don't go within yourself? It's time to take all that energy that you've been doling out and giving to people who've been taking it for granted or deciding it doesn't fit with their lives, and sow that back into yourself and invest in yourself and invest in your transformation, and then learn what you want and start moving towards it. Start aligning with that instead of just seeing what comes your way and what the universe has to offer you and letting it just come to you, anything that comes to you, and choosing and accepting things as they are. Let's get some more tarot cards and see what else Spirit wants you to know about where you should focus your attention to align with your dream life, Pile 3. What else would you like Pile 3 to know? What else would you like them to focus their attention on to align with their dream life, Spirit? What else would you like Pile 3 to know? What else would you like Pile 3 to know? What else would you like Pile 3 to focus on, Spirit? This one. 2 of Cups. What else would you like Pile? Oops. 5 of Cups. I'm not going to take that one yet, Spirit. My goodness. This one. Ace of Wands. Spirit just said community dick. Spirit, getting quite a strong energy for this. When I said community dick, some of y'all resonated with that because y'all know y'all just out here slanging it. And let me be clear, that's not a gendered term. Community, it can be community genitalia, okay? Don't give it up so easily now, people. Be more selective. That's what Spirit's calling you to do. Now, I'm not judging or slut-shaming. What you do with your body is your choice. I'm just the messenger, and Spirit said, be more selective. Spirit, clarify the 2 of Cups. What would you like, my goodness, Pile 3 to focus on? We have the World and the Knight of Swords clarifying the 2 of Cups. Something's coming to a close. Clarify the 5 of Cups, Spirit. 6 of Pentacles. Letting go, walking away from something that isn't serving you. Maybe it's something that's difficult for you to walk away from. Maybe it's a relationship. No, this is a situationship. This is a situationship, community dick. Okay, maybe their community dick. Spirit is asking you to walk away from this situation that's not serving you. It says everything happens for a reason. Release regret and embrace the opportunities for happiness. Search for the silver lining. The silver lining is reciprocity. You're leaving this little funky ass situationship for something better suited for you. And Spirit is saying with the World, if it hasn't closed already, the closure is imminent. So they're saying make peace with that reality because it's done. Clarify the Ace of Wands, please, Spirit. Where would you like Pile 3 to focus their energy, their attention? Clarify the Ace of Wands. Very strong energy coming through for you. There we go. 4 of Cups. So this is an ending that's quite disappointing for you, I understand, Pile 3. But it's for your highest good. And I suspect that you know it's for your highest good. And I suspect you also know that by letting go of this false 2 of Cups, or the idea of the 2 of Cups, taking some time to focus on yourself, you understand that by closing this cycle, we have the Knight of Swords, which is communication. This is about the communication, the relationship with yourself. How you communicate with yourself, how you talk to yourself, that internal voice, which you've continually tried to silence by going from connection to connection to connection, because when we're connecting with other people, we're trying to silence the voice within ourselves, because when we constantly have new energy, it's like a toy. It's something that we can focus our attention on, and when we're focusing our attention on certain things, we're not focusing them on others. And Spirit is calling you to focus attention on yourself, because that is how you create reciprocity. The messages are coming in a little bit too fast for me, so I'm going to slow down so that I can make sure to really say them. You have to understand something, pile 3. If you're feeling uncomfortable with yourself, if you don't want to look at the mirror within yourself, if you don't want to spend time with yourself, if you don't want to be around yourself, if you don't want to listen to yourself and your voice, why would anyone else? Why would these people you're connecting with value you if you don't value you? If you don't take your advice seriously, if you don't take your dreams seriously. We see the Ace of Wands, which is talking about passion, and then that's clarified by the Four of Cups. This is coming back to that message of community, Dick, and this is coming back to that message of being more selective. It says, seek out other possibilities. Look for the magic in life. Be aware of your own emotions. You might be someone who is relying on their body and their sexuality, and that message is coming through quite strongly now. You might be relying on what you physically have to offer people, and Spirit is saying that's coming to a close, and to seek out other possibilities and find the magic in life. They're saying you have more to offer. Listen to me. Listen. I'm snatching you. I'm snatching your collar. Listen to me. You have more to offer people, connections, this world, than just your body. You're a brilliant mind, a brilliant mind. You have brilliant thoughts. You're so creative. The ideas that you come up with, unseen, unheard, undiscovered. Stop giving away the Ace of Wands so easily. Stop giving away your passion so easily. Harness that passion, that beautiful sacral energy. Do you understand that the energy of creativity is the strong energy with this message? Do you understand that the purest energy of creativity comes from the sacral chakra? What is the most creative thing most human beings can do? It's to create life. So if you take some time, be celibate. If you take some time, stop getting into these quick connections. Stop having casual sex. Stop having one-night stands. Harness that sexual energy within yourself. Do you understand that creative energy can create worlds? You probably have some dissatisfaction within the abundance you can create for yourself, within your art, within your career, within your family life. And it's not going anywhere because you're giving all of your creative energy away in the bedroom. Yes, babes, when you're over there doing a split on it, that's giving your creative energies away. When you're over there putting whipped cream on somebody's back, that's giving your creative energy away. Spirit is saying, walk away from that and look for the magic in life, because I guarantee the world is going to look much more rich and exciting when you take that creative energy and really that arousal and project it and romanticize your reality. Don't you have hobbies, babes? Go out there and travel, see the world, get out the bed and get in the booth, okay, twin? Pile 3, that is what I have for your tarot readings. Now let's go ahead and get some oracle cards for you with Spirit's advice and guidance on where you should focus your attention to align with your dream life. So we're doing things a little differently here today with the oracle cards. First, we're going to use the Cosmic Comfort Oracle. These are going to be Spirit's affirmations for where you should focus your attention to align with your dream life. Affirmations and advice. And then we're going to get into the Okana Oracle. This is an oracle deck all about what shadow elements may interfere with your ability to focus your attention or align with your dream life. These are going to be your patterns that you've probably seen come up historically, probably lust for you. Pile 3, I'm sorry, I shouldn't have called you out like that, but I'm a tarot reader. What do y'all expect me to do? Anyways, just so you know, I will be reading from the booklet for the Okana Oracle, and then, of course, I will give you my channeled intuitive perspective on that. I'll be reading from the book on this deck because the creator of the Okana Oracle was very intentional with how they wanted these cards to be used, so I'm going to use them as intended. For pile 3, Spirit, what advice and guidance do you have for pile 3 on where they should focus their energy to align with their dream life? I can't take every card in the deck, Spirit. Who do you think I am? What time do you think I have? Advice and guidance for pile 3. Oh, this one. Beautiful card. It says, already lovable. Know this. You arrived here on this earth already lovable, whole, and complete. You do not need to earn or work hard for lovability. Imagine a soft pink, energetic orb of pure love encasing you in its infinite softness and tenderness like the most comfortable blanket handmade by a person who loves you so, so much. Let the gentle energy of pure love work its way into the corners of yourself that feel unlovable or not good enough. Relax into this softness of compassion. Be gentle with yourself and always believe that you are already lovable. They might tell you a joke, but they never tell you a what? A lie. Advice and guidance for pile 3. Thank you, Spirit. Receive. Are you fully receiving what is already yours? Receiving can feel vulnerable, especially if you have learned to be a people pleaser as a survival strategy and think little of your own needs. Step back from anticipating others' needs and simply slow down. Receive. Imagine you're opening your heart to the sky and a rainfall of blessings is cascading down upon you. Revel in the pleasure of receiving, relishing, savoring, enjoying. Receiving is not selfish at all. It is actually more selfish to refuse the gifts that are already around you and for you. They might tell you a joke, but they'll never tell you a what? Sound off in the comments. A lie, okay? Advice and guidance for pile 3, please, Spirit. My goodness. Messing up my setup. Divine loser. In a hyper-competitive society, being a loser is considered shameful. But why desire winning at a corrupt, rigged game? The divine loser sees through the arbitrary nature of this competition. Maybe losing isn't so bad if the game and the rules suck. Maybe being a loser is actually being a winner. Maybe it's time for you and me and everyone on this earth to come up with a new game, a new set of rules, a new way of being where everyone wins. Stop playing games that don't make sense for you to win. I'm going to go over the 3 oracle cards individually, but Spirit is already telling me from the divine loser a message for someone out there who is, again, relying on the body. It says, stop playing games that don't make sense for you to win. I asked you earlier in the tarot card reading, Is this fun for you? Are you enjoying yourself? I really want you to interrogate that for yourself. Go within the self and ask, are you enjoying this? Because especially if you're someone who identifies as female, we live in a current social landscape which is trying to undo the harm and harmful nature with regards to slut shaming in a way that doesn't necessarily suit everyone. Again, your body, your choice. I'm certainly not going to be the one to slut shame anyone. And at the same time, even if we are being free sexually, especially as female identifying people, we do have to ask ourselves, is this serving me? And also, is it making me feel good? Because if you're having as much sex as you want as a female identifying person, that's a-okay as long as it's making you feel good. Also, Spirit is telling me some of you guys are not getting yours when you get in the sack. What's the point of getting down in bed if you're not also going to get yours? You can't just go in there and please and come back dissatisfied every time. So Spirit really wants you to inspect for yourself. Are you gaining as much as you're losing when you're connecting with people in just the one way? I have to be a little bit more cunning with the way that I say things because of YouTube's rules. Spirit wants you to interrogate that for yourself. Are you satisfied with the experiences you're having in more ways than one? And is this serving you? Is this aligned with the person that you see yourself as? And are you losing something by playing this game? Because as much as I love the sexual freedom movement, I can't remember what it's called right now. As much as I love that movement for female identifying people, we do also have to understand we exist in a patriarchal society. And while well-intentioned, capitalism has a way of corrupting the most revolutionary ideas. And when it does that, it can turn things on its head. And all of a sudden, what was once sexual freedom for those who were female identifying or queer identifying is just another trap that puts us right back in the throes of a broken system. Let's get 2 more oracle cards for pile 3 Spirit. My goodness, already? We've got knowing. He who collects the most knowledge wins the war. So I didn't even get to ask the question. What I was asking Spirit is what shadow elements may interfere with pile 3's ability to focus their attention to align with their dream life. I say, the world was created by one. So this card also was present in pile 2. So if you felt called to pile 2, perhaps there's a message in there that will resonate for you. Knowing, he who collects the most knowledge wins the war. Shadow element. The use of knowledge as a means to invalidate emotion or manifest as a barrier to mask personality flaws. Knowledge is power, but what happens when that power is used as an injury to personality, common human error, or emotion? Of course, we're all students of Life and the process of learning is never complete. However, to use this as a means to invalidate the struggles we face emotionally is not only unfair to ourselves, but it is unfair to others. In life, we will all hear the argument that logic supersedes emotion and intuition by many who feel human actions can be quantified by mathematical or simplistic cause and effect reasoning. It can be used as a farce to appear stronger than one really is because they're not burdened by the frivolous nature of feeling. This card indicates that one is expressing pedantic behavior to belittle, demean, or outright nullify natural human emotion to appear intellectually superior to emotion. It is oftentimes used as a means to win interpersonal disagreements or to show emotional intelligence when it is not. Take a moment to analyze if at any time you or someone have revoked an emotional response to something joyful or saddening by inserting logic as a means to invalidate the feeling as nothing more than face value. Why does the notion of having emotions trouble you or them? So the first message Spirit is giving me is for those who are more hypersexual than others. And Spirit is saying, are you using your logic to justify your current sexual habits, even though there's a little voice inside of you that is telling you this is not for you? Are you using logic and societal norms or societal frameworks, conversations to justify a behavior that's not serving you? But then there's also a message here for other people, which is that you're being trivial. And being trivial is not serving you or serving others around you. And you may be looking at things through a lens of pure logic or pure rationality as elevated or mature, but really it's a sign of immaturity because we live in a world that operates on a logical level and also operates on a emotional level. And to ignore this duality of reality is not mature at all. In fact, it's what a novice might do. It's a part of child development. Now let's get into the second card, Ase. Ase, the world was created by one. Shadow element, not using one's true power and relying on others to make decisions for you. Ase is a Yoruba concept not easily translated to English, but in a base form it means the divine power, energy, and force present in all beings to produce the change they seek. This card is present in the reading as a suggestion that you may be going through a period in which you don't believe in your personal power and instead you rely on the decisions of others, spirits, friends, etc. to make grand decisions for you and to express how much you're capable of doing. It is important to make a mental note of why you may be feeling like you lack the divinity to create the opportunities or outcomes you want for yourself without external input. Why do you not feel comfortable taking the initiative to create your world without looking for permission? If it is of goodwill, utilizing your talents and makes you happy, why are you allowing others to live your life for you by planning your power? So for the Ase card, I hate to just keep harping on it, but there is a message here for someone who is heavily relying on their sexuality to create their reality. And Spirit is literally saying your divine power is so much more than that. Your divine power doesn't come from what's between your legs. And you need to understand that because you're allowing people to pick and choose the parts of you that they value, and you're allowing yourself to only be valued for one offering that you can bring to the table when you are so much more. I think I already said that you contain a multitude of realities. We have the already lovable card here, which, quite frankly, the cards already lovable and receive are so apt that I don't feel a need to say much more about them. But specifically for someone out there who is healing their sexual expression, healing how they relate to others sexually, Spirit put that card there for you to understand that you are already lovable, and that meeting people at that energy constantly, or for those who are just cycling through relationships one after the other, meeting people through that energy doesn't make you more lovable. If the idea is that it's going to bring you closer to your Two of Cups, is it? Has it already? Probably not. You need to sit with yourself and understand that, flaws and all, you are still already lovable. Spirit made you whole and completely perfect. That doesn't change. That hasn't changed because of how you've been in this world. That hasn't changed in any capacity. And Spirit is also saying to receive. If you are someone who's having some sort of sexual expression, receive. Spirit is saying you don't always have to be the one making sure it's an exciting time for the other person. It's okay to receive in the bedroom. It's also okay to receive in other areas of life. It's okay for people who are connecting with you to be more curious about you than you are about them. It's okay to receive your own energy. It's okay to receive that creative energy and not to just give it out to anyone willy-nilly. Pile 3. Thank you for joining me. This is the end of your reading on where you should focus your attention to align with your dream life. It's been my pleasure to read for you. All right, guys, that is what I had for the reading today on where you should focus your attention to align with your dream life. Thank you for joining me here at Eternity Tarot. If you received messages today that you resonated with, please feel free to check out some of the other videos and content on the channel. Maybe you'll find another message that resonates for you. And also, don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe, and hype the video. Thank you so much, and have a great day.